Yay, we're here. We're on our last video for this enormous chapter. And so I just wanted to talk just a little bit about Duchenne's muscular dystrophy and describe a little bit of the onset of it, how it occurs. And so it will generally be observed by 3 years of age when you begin noticing your child isn't developing a normal walking gait or is delayed quite significantly in walking. And so this condition then is due in part to slow motor development. Your neurons aren't extending correctly. And it will be first noticed, since you would notice it in terms of a abnormal walking gait, in the pelvic girdle. And within 3 to 5 years from that point, you'll see an onset as it progresses the body to the pectoral girdle. And so continuing muscular atrophy occurs. And because the muscles aren't pulling correctly on the skeleton, you will get deformity of the skeleton. And by 10 or 12 years of age, you're wheelchair bound. And the condition continues to degrade from that point. And it's unusual to live beyond your mid-20s, maybe into your early 30s. This is all due to an X-linked gene. This will make more sense when you get to the end of ANP2, but this means that more males will be suffering from this condition than females. In fact, over 90% of the sufferers will be males rather than females, but they will be carriers, so they sometimes have to go through genetic counseling in this process. And so because the skeletal muscle isn't being vigorously exercised with this condition, the muscle tissue will begin to degrade and it will be replaced by fat and some other connective tissue. Now, why does this occur? It's because of that protein dystrophin, and that's why I pointed it out earlier. And the dystrophin molecule, protein, links the sarcomere to the external cellular material. So outside the sarcomere, you need to translate all this contraction process to the rest of the cell, and that's dystrophin's domain. So there's a couple outcomes of this. The cell doesn't respond correctly, and relaxation processes are all messed up. So it doesn't do very well during muscular stress. All right. So what about aging? Aging sucks, as I've mentioned before. Don't do it, but it is better than the alternative. You will see a progressive loss of mass. It's perhaps one of the most profound things in aging as your muscles begin to deteriorate. You'll, of course, as you lose muscle mass, lose strength. You'll begin to have a degradation in your reflexes and so forth. Also, the number of slow oxidative fibers begins to increase, so you begin to lose the ability to sprint when you get into your 60s and 70s. Not that you necessarily need to, but you know how that goes. All right, and finally, everything begins to deteriorate, but of course you can delay this and even ameliorate it to some extent by regular exercise well into your 80s and onward, right? Continue to do that.